Hi, welcome back to Mountain Jim Card Collectibles. Hope you're having a great week. Now the weekend is here. So I'm surprised I haven't seen more people talking about it on YouTube, and that's the big, 2025 Topps MLB debut rookie patch auto 1 of 1 Nick Kurtz card that was recently pulled by a breaker on Whatnot. Now, it's really important to realize that a breaker pulled it. Who else would it be? I mean, that's the nature of sports cards these days. I've said it before, if you want to get into sports cards, you have to start a breaking company. Otherwise, you're not going to get anything good. And I feel like the burnout is there for a lot of collectors, to be honest. I mean, if you were a collector and you bought this, 2025 Topps MLB update, did you believe you actually had a chance? I've said it before. No, you do not have a chance. Not with the way that the product is being shilled out. And, this article from Clicked, Nick Kurtz RDPA pulled quickly after Topps Chrome update release. And I would say, boy, I feel like the Topps Fanatics team really, made a big mistake here. I mean, they can't sit and milk out this product, through Christmas, like we went through last year. But nonetheless, it is what it is. And really, Nick Kurtz was the biggest chase of this year. I know there's a few others, Roki Sasaki that you can chase, James Wood. I recommend maybe Rhett Lauder. But overall, there just isn't a lot of big names, And most of the big MLB debut patch rookie 1 of 1 autos will be of no-name players, unfortunately. So maybe it is possible that you're going to get a big hit, but I bet if it is, it's like a no-name player. If you're not a breaking company. I feel like a lot of people are just so irritated at this point that they're just looking at this hobby going, you know what, it's not for me. So this came out yesterday, December 12th. As far as I know, this information started pouring out on December 11th about this hit. So let's see what the breaker's name was. Right there. Throne Sports Cards. And it was actually on Whatnot, But, there's big breaking companies on Whatnot, big breaking companies elsewhere, Of course, it's a breaking company. The redemption card for the next Kurtz RDPA was pulled from a jumbo box and hit by an anonymous collector who has been chasing the A's very hard. The host of Thrones Fanatics live channel said. Okay. So, maybe, whoever put money in on the break, maybe they're sitting pretty good with this card right now, huh? The issue is having to put money into a break, to get good cards, because let's face it, if you're going to do that, you're going to get burned a lot, And you have to think, this list of players for the RDPAs for 2025, there's a lot of pitfalls here, to say the least. And, the fact that there's only a few big name players to chase, in this list, that's why I don't think these rookie debut patch autos are as big of a thing as they're made out to be. Yeah, for the big name players they are, but for everybody else, it's just kind of like, meh, who cares? So you can see this list here, of RDPAs. And I'm sure a lot of these have been hit, But I know that Topps is hyping up Roki Sasaki and James Wood, for the fact that they still have not been pulled. But honestly, I don't know what it is about Roki Sasaki and James Wood. It's just my interest just isn't there like other players. And that's just the nature of, sports cards, fame, athletes, is the interest has to be there. Now, here we see this one for Dylan Cruz. I don't know if that one's been hit. But honestly, a lot of these names, they're just, that's the danger of this game. Here is one for Hyesung Kim with the LA Dodgers. Maybe Jackson Jobe with the Detroit Tigers. So, I mean, there's still a few big names. I haven't really gone too deep of everything that's been pulled. But, I guess there still is a few bigger names out there that you could hit. But overall, for the most part, you look at this list, none of these names come out at me. I mean, it's just one after another. Maybe you want to chase the Matt Shaw with the Chicago Cubs. It's kind of has a name a little bit, but for the most part, not really. There's your Rhett Lauder, Cincinnati Reds. Of course, your Roki Sasaki, LA Dodgers. Which, that's the big hyped up player that Topps believes you should chase. Anyway, went over that list fairly well from Clicked, so I recommend reading this article if you're really serious about this. And then, we can just hit good old X to see what's going on, how people are feeling about this, Like it says here, just pulled Nick Kurtz's 1/1 MLB debut patch autograph card has been found. Roki Sasaki, James Wynn, others are still on the board, This is from December 11th, so let's see how people are feeling. Amazing how the common folk never get this lucky. Let's see what the replies are for that. The Skeens was hit last year at a shop and everyone bitched and moaned, calling it BS. Can't go both ways here. Well, as far as we know, maybe it was purchased at a shop, but to me, the whole thing is as fishy as can be about the Paul Skeens, MLB debut patch, last year. It's really fishy. It feels like something from the Saturday Evening Post, a kid opening it up on Christmas, like he only has 1 or 2 boxes. Give me a break. What's a common folk supposed to do when they don't have a card shop within 100 miles and they buy retail? At my Walmart, the stuff just sits there and collects dust now. I guess it feels like people in my neighborhood woke up to the fact that retail is just garbage for sports cards. It's just the bottom of the barrel. It's the score, it's the NBA hoops, and it's the Topps, paper products, and they're more than happy to put a big price on it for the common folk to get blasted, But I think it's hilarious how this stuff is just sitting there because everyone's calling the fact that that's the garbage cards, and that's for like second, third class people, No. I'm not second class. I'm not third class. I want the best of the best. And so people are just kind of, sticking with Pokemon, at least we have a chance of getting a good card. Technically, a common folk did hit it. Breakers are opening cards for common folk. People act like breakers are the ones that keep all these cards. Well, the thing is if you've gone in on breaks, man, you got to spend a lot of dough, And a lot of times you can get burned really, really bad. And you just get a few cards. So I think it's hilarious how you're always going to find people sticking up for the villains, and maybe this guy's tied to a breaking company. Who knows, But the overall sense I get from the card collecting community is they want to be the ones to open the product, not just breakers, I mean, why do we have to fly on, Topps Fanatics Airlines, which only caters to first class breakers, and everyone else has to fly in the little luggage bin. It's so true. It is so true. Can you please respond and explain why such a large allocation of patches went to one breaker? And why are you taking allocation away from so many smaller breakers? Well, I could care less about smaller breakers. I only care about the common collector. Because that's pretty much what it's always been about. Now, I know that everyone wants to gaslight us and say, no, nothing to look at here, with these breaking companies. But you have to at least get a sense that this type of mentality that comes from Topps is destroying the card collecting market for the most part. It really is. People want to be independent and be able to buy their products, at an affordable rate and be able to hit, big cards. It's that simple. That's why, I see so much excitement for the Pokemon TCG at my Walmart, when you see customers there, whatever. They're just walking past sports cards because they know it's not for them. If you want to get into sports cards, you got to open a breaking company. Rolling on over to Pokemon because they know they have a good chance of getting a good hit. Great hit, congrats. Saved me a lot of money. No need to buy this product now. Yeah. I feel the same way. I mean, I would not even want to, purchase 2025 Topps Chrome Update. I'm just like, no, I'm not even going to bother, But honestly, I was telling myself the day it was released, it's like, yeah, that's all meant for breaking companies, I mean. All these patches being pulled and my pre-order still hasn't shipped. Game's not rigged at all for major breakers, Are they only in Breaker Delight cases? Well, I noticed that, from a lot of the other pulls, that for one reason they tend to be getting pulled out of the Breakers Delights. This was pulled out of Jumbo. They're available in Delight, Jumbo, and Hobby. All right, so maybe there's a few other hits besides the stuff that's in Delight. Okay, take it easy out there. Take it easy. How pissed is Filth Bomb? Yeah, they didn't get to hit it, They will survive. Shocking. A breaker, yes. You can't just be the little guy these days. That's Nick's Backyard Breaks, Kurtz. It's all over, folks. Go home. Yeah, if you want to chase the big hits, it pretty much is. I mean, yeah, there's a few other, players out there, but, we all know Nick Kurtz was the Paul Skeens, for this year, I mean, last year's Paul Skeens, this year's Nick Kurtz. Now it's just time for everybody, pack up their bags and go home. Because really, I mean, when you think of the whole year, this was the biggest chase. It really was. I mean, Nick Kurtz came out of the gate pretty hot as a rookie, and kept, getting more hype, getting more interest. And really, this was his best card. Now it's gone. It's just kind of like, time to move on. At this point, it feels pointless to even buy his product since all the breakers are getting into the big hits. Might as well skip it. Yeah, I have been saying that for years. That's why I have a small channel. Nobody wants to deal with reality. I mean, people hate reality. Yeah, and they will all be pulled on breaks that you need to pay an arm and a leg to get into. So don't waste your money buying regular packs anymore. Exactly. It's just like, why bother? You have to get in on a break. You have to be tied in with a breaking company. It's just, hey, that's just the way sports cards are these days, huh? And it's just like, time to move on. I'll admit, I mean, I'm guilty. I spent many, many years building an art career. I've had artwork, local galleries. I'm starting to get more back into it to where I want to build like more of a artwork type business than my ideal of starting a sports card business. Why? Well, let's face it, my sports card business, I pretty much been broomed out. You don't have the money, get out of here, kid. But yeah, I can still keep doing my art business and put in to try and make a company for that. And that's what I'm kind of focused on more these days than buying a lot of products to try and sell online for sports cards. And that's sad because I love doing that. That's my favorite thing. But the reality is the sports cards are only meant for a few unicorns. And you can, watch YouTube day and night, hear people talk about it, this is for you, this is for you. But really, they're talking about people who are in a different world, these big sports card breaking companies, these big sports card gurus, these big wealthy acolytes that have, these awesome cards. I mean, if you're like me, the reality is it's just not ever going to happen. Oh wow, another person who has 1,000,000 boxes pulled a one of one. What's even the point anymore? Yeah, that's just it. Everyone sees it, and that's why am I so cheerful when I go to Walmart and I see the sports cards not moving at all. I mean, literally. I mean, I was just there. Like 3 days ago? The stuff hasn't moved at all. No one is buying sports cards at Walmart. At least my local Walmart. I love it. That means I'm winning. And all of the BS that gets shilled out about how great breaking companies, how great breakers are, how great Topps Fanatics is for, people want to become millionaires and chase lottery tickets, it means it's all crumbling down. And that's fine by me because they deserve to crumble down. And the sports leagues deserve to not get their cash every year because people don't want to buy sports cards because they tied in with such a disastrous, greedy, selfish monopoly like Topps Fanatics and Michael Rubin, I just love watching Topps Fanatics go down the toilet. I'm cheering it on. Any chance, where they get blasted, where they get hurt financially, where their products just sit and collect dust. I'm the Grinch. I'm the guy up on the mountain. I mean, Mountain Jim. I'm up on the mountain here. I'm loving it. I'm looking down in Whoville, and Whoville is losing it because, face it, sports cards suck for the common person these days. Right here. How is this fun anymore? You're right. It isn't fun. It's not fun for people like us anymore. It just isn't. Here's one. At least normal collectors won't have to worry about boxes being super expensive a year from now. At this rate, breakers will pull all the RDPAs. We also know now Chrome NBA going to be some BS. All the logo mans will go to breakers or people in China. Yep. Everyone's catching on. Topps Fanatics. Maybe just get rid of your licensing. I mean, I doubt that Michael Rubin would ever listen to me, but hey, how about just get rid of those licenses? Given the companies that are going to take care of the consumer more, not Panini. I'm burnt out of Panini. The only thing I like about Panini anymore are the inserts. I'm just burnt out of Prism. Looking forward to see Sasaki and Wood. Well, we know it's going to come from breaking companies. You can practically guarantee that Sasaki and Wood, Roki Sasaki and James Wood will be pulled by breaking companies. They should have people betting on this stuff in Vegas. Can you please let us know which other breakers you juice so we know what breaks to buy into? Yeah, that's about it. Because, with what's left, if you're buying the breaks, I probably have to pull you to the side and slap your face a couple times, throw some water in your face. Wake up, man. Don't do it. So does anyone have a shot at this card or just the breakers? Yep. I just love it. You're all getting the idea. Time to hit the road, just like my art business. My art business is starting to, really pick up again. I'm starting to get back into it. Spend less time in sports cards and cards in general, more time and getting my artwork up and, getting ready, for some art shows that are coming up this next year. I had my chance in the sun, but let's face it, my chance in the sun for sports cards was stolen from the greediest monsters imaginable who only like rich people, who only like rich breakers. Yeah. Michael Rubin. You guys rig the crap out of this stuff. Fake setups. Y'all just send them all to breakers, SMH, yep. Was it Kurtz himself or Fanatics? And that is a knee slapper. That might be the best one, because it's all PR for, Topps Fanatics. I mean, if they have an awesome card, it has to be tied to Topps Fanatics some way or a breaking company so that they can, get all of, the commercialization of the product out there. It's not meant for, grandma and grandpa, people like me, just going to rip it open in my house, Guaranteed PSA 10, yep. So here's someone, Dope card. Congrats to whoever found it. Yeah, And hopefully it is someone out there who's really struggling to get good hits, struggling for the cash. But I'm guessing if they have enough cash to buy into breaks, it's probably some rich dude. Thanks for ruining the hobby. Yeah. I mean, breaking really has. I mean, it doesn't even feel like a hobby. Rigged. What? He just signed them yesterday. It is weird because he just recently did sign it, I mean. Back to, we need laws and regulations in this hobby so we don't get scumbags like Tops Fanatics gaming the system all the time. These sure are flowing out through breakers, yep. So I can keep going on. People are just not happy. I'm not happy for the most part. I mean, I'm happy watching everyone turn against Tops Fanatics. I just love it, because I was like a troll, hardcore troll just a few years ago talking about this stuff, and people just didn't want to hear it. They just, you'll know what you're talking about, Well, after a few years of, the endless gaslighting from Tops Fanatics and watching all the big breaking companies always roll out with the biggest hits, or all the PR, with all the big celebrities getting their cards and this and that, I feel like the Tops Fanatics house is on fire. And they don't really know it yet. And to see the stuff in retail just collect dust because everyone's caught on the fact that it's just, second class, third class, fourth class stuff, I love it. I am the Grinch for Tops Fanatics. I am the guy, up on the mountain looking down at Whoville and all the people getting gaslit endlessly in Whoville, Anyway, how do you feel about this card getting pulled by a breaking company? We all know it was expected, and we can pretty much guarantee that, all the rest of the big name hits from this year will be getting pulled by breakers as well. That's just the way it was designed. So anyway, I'd like to thank my viewers. I don't thank you enough. If you could subscribe, just hit that subscription button. I'd like to thank my subscribers because you're the reason I keep doing these episodes because I'm not monetized. I mean, I spend a lot of my time with my business these days. So anyway, thank you for subscribing. I hope you have a great day. I'm out of here. Bye.